Okay, so typically for week 2, if you guys remember in the back, we had you do a makeover of your other application. Remember that? Sort of? No?
Yeah.
Yes, no? Okay, let's say yes. Yeah. So we actually decided to do something late yesterday afternoon. We had finished the Tableau intro training, and we had about an hour and a half left at the end of the day. So we decided to have each of them pick a different one of the that's on Exasol. So everybody's going to present something different. They went through and used some of the principles they learned from Caroline and then from Carl during the visual analytics class. And then had this morning to, you guys didn't touch the data until this morning. So I'm excited to see what you guys present. So Lily, you going to go first? Okay. No, you bring with you because you're going to present from up here. I'll share. So I'm going to give you control. Oops. It should be asking you to go over to the browser. No, it's okay. You wouldn't have seen it before. And now you're screen sharing. Okay. So make sure you say your name. Eva's on the phone. So Eva.
Hi.
Hi. From Exasol. She's excited to see what you guys create today, and hopefully you're going to publish these up on the Exasol server, right, Eva?
No pressure. Yeah. I just need the workbooks with the live connection, and then so if you can send them to me, then I will point them over. With a different user, because you guys have obviously used your own login, and then I can publish them up, and then they should be interactive and on there.
Excellent.
And you can put them into your blog and stuff.
Cool. So they have a public-facing version of Tableau Server, because you can't publish these up to public. They're live connections to the database, and you don't really want to create an million records. It's too big for Tableau Public. Can only handle 15 minutes. Okay.
Do I have to stand here to hear me?
Okay.
So hi, I'm Lily. To everyone again. So I had flight data because I didn't pick one and waited for the last one to come up, and everyone else wanted this one. So it was basically about flights between 2 different destinations, and I looked at Heathrow and Gatwick because there are 2 airports that are near me, and I wanted to use it so that I could choose between whether I want to fly out of Heathrow or out of Gatwick. So the colours are the colours of the airports, by the way, because obviously after our colours sessions and our week this week, I wanted to keep the colours minimal, but then keep them in keeping. So that's why Heathrow's purple. So basically, you can see on the left is all the Heathrow data, and on the right is all the Gatwick data. And if you particularly want to fly on a Friday from Heathrow, you can see the top 5 airlines who you might be able to fly with, and the top 3 destinations. And you just have to Google the airport codes because
you know them.
Yeah, or you just know them. I imagine that's like France and Zurich.
That's Frankfurt.
Oh yeah, Frankfurt. Well, and Dublin, or if you also want to look at Gatwick and Heathrow, and you only want to fly on a Friday, then you can see that you'd be better off going to Barcelona with EasyJet from from Gatwick, and that is it.
So a couple of questions for you.
Yes.
A couple of things. You do have your source on there, so that's good.
Yes.
Why did you choose to just do the top 3 in the bottom instead of top 5?
Because it didn't fit in when I did the top 5 on my screen.
Okay.
So that's why I did top 3. I did do top 5 originally.
Can I click on EasyJet and it filters top destinations for EasyJet?
No.
Okay. So I think it'd be cool to be able to click on EasyJet and have it update top destinations for EasyJet and also the flights to Gatwick.
Yes, that would be a good idea.
So that'd be something to add.
Yeah.
Would you guys make those two heat maps? Would you make the left one like the purpley scheme, and the right one like bluish scheme, or to kind of go with that?
Yeah.
To make it kind of like a theme down the left.
Yeah, because the Gatwick one, the colour that it chose on its own was really Gatwicky, but the Heathrow one, it wasn't very nice. It was like more of an orangey purple, so it didn't quite work.
Okay.
So that's why I took it out.
Okay. The other, these are small things, but I would align it a bit better so the purple bar extends past the heat map.
So it does, yeah.
So, and I would probably left align the bars so
yeah,
the same.
yeah,
Right?
that would be better.
And I also think it might be good to have numbers on the ends of the bars so you know how many flights it is. So, because there's no scale, so I would put the numbers on there then if there's no scale.
I was kind of like, I don't know if you need to see how many. That's why I took the scale off, and also because there wasn't enough room on my screen.
Okay. Yeah, so you can tell on this screen you've got a bit more room, right? So typically about 1400 by 800 is probably okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other, Eva, any feedback?
Yes, I actually wondered because I love heat maps, and then sometimes I think, what would it look like if it was square? Now, shrinking the weekdays up to 3 letters, making the boxes taller, but then you'd have to shift your bar charts and make it more of a vertical, so having basically 4 vertical panels: heat map, bar chart, heat map, bar chart. Not sure what it would look like in the end, but I could imagine that then gives you more space for your bars because you have more space vertically to actually do top 5 and top 5.
Well, I guess it helps them make the whole dashboard more narrow.
Yeah.
More narrow and a bit taller.
Yeah, like
Squished. Yeah. Well, you see how like your times in the middle are just kind of really squished together.
Yeah.
A little bit more at the top. And this is another really minor thing, but on your bar charts at the bottom, you can see the grid lines and the axis borders.
Yeah. I can see them on that screen, and now that I look, I can see them on mine as well. I will go through every single grid line and try and work out which one it is and take them out.
Well, once you pick one of them, if you right-click on the tab at the bottom, the name of the tab, you can choose copy formatting. Go to the next sheet, right-click.
Oh, I thought you had to go into each sheet.
And you guys are so lucky that you learned this in week 2 and not in year 4.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I told you guys.
I never knew that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, well done. Good job.
How do I?
I'm sorry, Ben. Did you have anything? I saw you standing over there. Say something.
The only thing I was going to say is there's a really interesting data set on flight delays. So that might be a good addition. Is okay. There's loads of flights leaving at 5 a.m. but how often are they delayed?
I don't think
that would be the main driver to my decision if I saw a flight at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Right.
I was hoping that would have been this data because a little birdie mentioned something about flight delays yesterday, and I was like, brilliant.
Right? I think, it's not on Exasol, but the flight delay is not there. So we wanted to practicing with Exasol as well. So okay, well done.
How do I?
I'll take care of it. Yeah. So who's next? Somebody? Georgie? Okay then. And if you go over to your browser, you should see a request. Yeah, just hit download. And then share. You'll see a little thing just like that. Okay.
It's a good thing you like heat maps, Eva. So we've got one.
So this is another smushy heat map.
Yeah, smushy, I know. It will smushy in a moment. Still starts smushy. Had the data for underground stations, and a lot of it was to do with football. over time. So I decided to look at the passenger traffic for lines and stations over an average day. So if you, for instance, want Woodford Underground Station is your local station, you can click on that. It'll put all to show you the passenger footfall at the time, and this shows you the number of trains, the intensity of how many trains there are throughout the day. If you go to Stratford DLR, oh, sorry, I'm trying to get a connection one. What was the connection? Yeah, there we go. Hopefully this will work. There we go. So at Stratford, because it's a connection, it has both the Jubilee line and the Central line, and it will then tell you the passenger footfall as well as the how many trains there are at any point during the day. Also, I'll put this in just in case anyone forgets, because I do, all of the underground colours and names.
So I think JMac was saying that the Northern Line runs a ton of trains during the peak hours.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, as you can see, you're looking at 40,000.
They don't run all that many more trains during the peak than they do just kind of all day. So
no,
over like 5 p.m.
I mean, compared to the others, it is quite high. You're right. Yeah. But Northern seems to be pretty busy for the entire day. But then again, all of them are pretty solidly busy from basically 5 a.m. onwards.
So can you pick the Central Line? Because I think it'd be neat for people to see what was going on with that.
Yeah.
Oh, but not Central. Circle.
Circle. Sure. Yeah. Circle was annoying because it's all connections, so that was a little bit of filtering there. So yeah, this is Circle Line, and where are we? Over here, Cannon Street Underground. Look at Cannon Street.
So now it's showing just Cannon Street for the Circle Line, not the other lines as well. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because I've selected Circle Line specifically up here.
Should look exactly the same as Cannon Street.
But if I was to go in, there we go. And then that's Cannon Street, that one, and that's Mansion House now. They don't change much because they're the same line combination, and they're right next to each other. So, oh no, why?
Axes fixed.
Why aren't they?
I said, are they?
No, they're not fixed. No, they're variable. Because the problem is for instance, if I fix this, it doesn't vary. It would have difficulty for stations. So already that would only be like down here at peak, and then if you look at one of the really small ones,
You got to the east somewhere.
yeah, somewhere they would still closest outwards. This is I would have to move. So yeah, no, I didn't fix it.
Because that's much more clustered between 10 and 4, and you would think it would be. I would have expected it to be earlier. Oh no, that's number of trains, not passengers.
That's number of trains, and this is passengers here. Passengers departing.
Right.
Trains.
But still, it's higher than in the middle of the day time. You'd think it would be if people commuting in. It'd be. Are there any that are like M shape?
Some of the really central ones, like there, you do get that with Northern Line a bit.
What about Waterloo?
Where is Waterloo?
Right there.
Oh, hello. There's. There we go. Waterloo.
Yeah, Waterloo City. Yes, that's the one at the bottom. So you just choose the line. Filter. Upper right.
I can as well. That's the time. Sorry. There we go.
There we go. Cool. Any questions? Feedback?
With your library, because you're not using a fixed axis, did you consider just dropping the axis altogether and just highlighting the maximum value?
No, I didn't, because that sounds like a slightly better idea.
Because then you don't have to actually read the axis.
Yeah, that's true, but the minimum value will be pretty reliably down at 4 a.m. which would be
maybe just
your maximum would change absolutely. But I'm not sure if that's the most interesting value compared to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was more the maximum gives you the height of it.
Yeah.
Rather than, and it's immediately visible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm wondering if the heat map at the bottom should just show whatever stations are selected instead of each individual one. In other words, just don't break it down by line. It just shows kind of, so if you go back to the overall and think about there being, as if there were a grand total on there.
Yeah, I know.
And it just shows a single color then?
Yeah, the problem is depending on what station you're getting on, it can be quite different the amount of trains that are running. So, for instance, if I was here, I couldn't have thought of it as a tool, essentially, as a commuter or someone that wanted to use it. If you wanted to use Jubilee, you can see at 8 AM there's a fair number of trains.
Right.
But if you wanted to use Waterloo, it really doesn't matter what time. And so combining them all together kind of gives a somewhat incorrect impression of what's where.
Okay.
I think also might be interesting if you color the heat map by the color of the line.
That would be interesting, yeah. I'm not sure how to do that.
You would have to create a separate measure for every single line in order to have a different color for each line.
Well, couldn't you do if?
No. Because you only get one color palette per measure. So he's got one measure in the view, which is quantity of trains.
Yeah.
So you would have to have a separate, in order to see multiple.
Well, you could probably have a parameter. If you have.
Yeah, but then you don't get it for separate lines. That wouldn't help you.
That's discrete.
No. Give it a go, you'll find it doesn't work. You guys remember yesterday when we did the measure per shelf? Remember when we created those heat maps, those 3 heat maps that were all different? One chart with 3 heat maps? Yeah. Okay. Make sure you include your source on it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Lily got it.
Eva, any feedback? Hopefully, can you hear the drilling, by the way?
The drill is super loud, yeah.
Super loud as well.
The only thing I wondered is with the heat map, I think, you've discussed it, but what it would look like to have white or light grey borders around it. Because, I know, it shows nicely the progression or the differences, but I would give it a go and just see whether it looks better or not.
Around the squares.
Okay, Eva, thank you.
Yeah, cool. Well done.
Anything else? Yeah.
So how did you end up solving the multi-dimension stations?
Andy solved it all for me.
Why don't you explain to her how you did it?
So we did use an if statement for if station line. God.
Why don't you show the calculation?
Yeah, I'll show the calculation. That'll be easier, and then I can act like I know.
If you can't tell, they're doing construction downstairs on the pub. Perfect timing for us to move in. It's supposed to be done in a month.
I thought they were setting up your Wi-Fi.
So, yes.
Like we got a start on it, right?
Yeah, we got some of the way there. Most of it, to be honest. I think we did this.
So he had it first built without the LOD, without the fixed on station, and it wouldn't count properly.
Yeah.
So because you need to kind of aggregate the stations together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the structure of the stations as well. So yeah, like trying to fix the station and then if after.
Right.
So just as an explanation for people on the recording, was that we had difficulty with the dots overlapping each other when there was more than a single line attributed to a single station. So when you were trying to filter by the map, it got a situation where, for instance, you want to go to Finchley Park and there's more than one, it would just take whatever line you clicked on, that was the dot at the top. So then we made a calculation to define a connection station, and then the connection would take in all the lines in one filter. Pretty much what we did.
Yeah. Otherwise, it just returns the line.
Yeah.
Does that calculation make sense to you guys? What it's doing? So how are you watching? Are you on your computer? Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well done. Yeah. That's where you do that. Okay. Louise, want to go next? It should be asking you for size and add extension.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, always. Okay, so my presentation was about the air pollution data in London. Should have done noise pollution. But so what I decided to examine was how it varies across time for all the different stations. So I started with a map because it is best and geographic data, and I coloured the circles here according to the site type because that's quite important. In that industrial areas will have different levels of pollution from suburban areas, or roadside and parks will also be quite different. The size of the bubbles relate to the variability between the average and the maximum.
Guys, can you respect her, please? While she's presenting? You wouldn't want people doing that to you.
The bubbles relate to the gap between the average pollution measure and the maximum pollution measure, because a lot of the averages, because it's spanning over quite a long period of time, isn't very much. But if you've seen the news in the last year, obviously pollution is quite a hot political topic in London. So to prevent the viz from getting too busy, the variation across the months and a particular pollutant will only load if I click on a bubble. So click on one here. So for Tower Hamlets near the Blackwall Tunnel, on the side here, the barbell has loaded the variation with the average AQI with the sort of like, I don't know, light greyish bubble. And then the maximum AQI with a sort of weird orangey brown bubble over the months and for the different particular pollutants, because the pollutants relate to different activities going on. And then I contextualize this with the line graph below, which is a running median AQI, so air quality index of the different pollutants across the whole city.
What's the time period for your moving average there?
So the time period for moving average is over 3 measures, so it's about 3 days.
Okay.
So some of the measures are triggered, some of them are done as regular measures, and some of them are only triggered when a pollution level gets above a certain reading,
Right.
Which is the case particularly for PM2.5.
So that's why it's so jagged up and down?
Yeah. So PM2.5 is the one that's in the news a lot, because this is one that's pretty harmful, and it's also the one that can get into bloodstreams and all that kind of thing. The PM2.5 just refers to the measure of the particulate, and that it's less than 2.5 microns wide. That's not particularly helpful. Yeah, not of common knowledge. But basically, it's fairly average, but it's like here. In late January, there was a front cover of the Evening Standard which said that London had exceeded its air pollution measure for the year because of this spike, because PM2.5 pollution is considered more dangerous than others. But this relates to the cold snap that we had in January of 2017, where London was covered in snow for a week. So people obviously put on their wood burners or turn on their central heating systems, and that's what's the greater cause of the pollution there.
Okay, good job. I'm wondering, so I'm not totally sold on the line chart at the bottom. I'm wondering if Did you try like a 30-day moving average, or what else did you try?
So I tried a mean moving average as well as median, and I tried it over 30 days, or I tried over 3 months. The problem is it flattens things out a lot, so you don't get spikes that relate to particular weather events.
Okay.
Because some of the pollutions are quite seasonal. So like PM2.5 is quite wintry, or ozone is more spring and summer. But it basically flattened everything out to nothing.
Right.
So it was like.
I like your color choices. They're similar, but they're just enough where you can make out the differences between them. Is there a way? So you've clicked on that one station. So the line chart now represents that one station.
The line chart doesn't move. It's only the bubble chart that moves.
Okay. Is there a reason you didn't update the line chart as well?
Because not all the stations cover all of the pollutants. So if I pick another one, or I pick a small one, so this is a park, it only measures one, and it doesn't measure very much. So if it was a line chart over time, it would just look like nothing.
Right.
This one, like, I think I get that for a line chart, but the x-axis is 4.6.
So AQI, the air quality index, is measured from 0 to 10.
Okay, that'd be good to maybe include that on the axis title or something, or maybe in the title of the chart. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's also the one used down here, so yeah, I'll put it in the title.
Yeah.
So this means in 6 months of January for how many years? Is it just 1 year?
So this is from October 2016 to June 2017.
Because it's only 2017 to January 2017. I can see that.
Right. So is it adding together some of the? Well, no, because each individual month it goes from October 2016 to June. So there's no overlapping months. So your months are in the wrong order now.
Yeah.
So you maybe should put the year in there as well, so it does the year, and you can just hide the year later.
Okay.
But that way it sorts correctly. Is that what you're saying, Niels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Eva?
Sorry, unmuting myself. I also really like the colors. I like how the overall design is, nice and simple, and the barbell charts was a nice little surprise when that popped up. I guess with the line chart, it's always tricky when you have gaps, right? Because then it just kind of has those funky stretches across. I wish in some way it was a bit more visible, because they all seem to be between like 1 and 2 or so on the scale, and I would love to see a bit more granularity at that level, because that's a bit lost because of those big spikes in January. But otherwise, yeah, I really like it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
When you actually pick a station, it would be interesting if you see that station compared to the average. So you would kind of filter it. And you have like an average thing.
So yeah, so if she clicks on that one there, whatever, or what was the one you clicked on before where it would highlight the bottom?
That was a pollutant over here.
Right. So you're saying that's the line for the overall for that pollutant, and then have a second line that shows for that station?
Yeah, like if that's possible. And then you get some context.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, because I assumed when she clicked on that it updated the line chart at the bottom as well.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
Initially, I was going to do that, but it's when I sort of discovered that not all the stations measure everything consistently. If they all measured all 5 pollutants, then that would look better and it would make more sense.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay.
But on the flip side of that, we don't know that. So when we look at the graph, we assume that we all
Yeah.
pollutants.
Yeah.
So they're actually kind of helpful to know that they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I'm like just interested in a particular station, it would be very difficult for me to kind of pick that out in a library. So like even though it was counts, I would be able to kind of see that.
Yeah. If I had a bit more skill, do you remember the viz at showing the gender and ethnicity balance in all those Silicon Valley companies, and they look like flowers? I was doing one of those, but I'm not that good. Not yet. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, well done.
Eva, this is like another Viz review.
I know. I was just thinking when we started, I thought, oh, I wonder if I get asked for feedback, and then I get to comment on every post. This is fun. So this is the first week, or I don't know, 3 days of using Tableau for most people, like using it at the data school, I suppose.
Yeah, we started on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at some of the Makeover Monday sessions and people say they have 5 years of experience, it just makes me weep. Which, sorry, this is a compliment for you guys. I hope that came across the right way.
Well, scary, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so my data set was about UK house prices, so it had across the whole of the UK, but I decided to focus specifically on London just because I find it more interesting, it's relevant to us. So I had to take the data set down to the county of Greater London specifically, and then filter that further to the district. So here are the most expensive districts in London in 2001, I think, year, or 2002. So unsurprisingly, Chelsea at the top, and then if I click on that, it can filter it down further to its specific postcode. There we go. And then we can see the specific postcode areas and how they're one another as well. I decided, well, Andy decided to add a chart which documents the growth or house prices over the course of that year by month. So,
Looks like a mosaic.
Okay, so yeah, unsurprisingly, house prices go up across the year, and then you can pick from year to year and see how that changes over time.
It's interesting because there's no like, well, I guess it's the whole, yeah, so there you go, that's moving down. So that's, what year is that? 2008, so that's a recession.
Yeah. The data set began in 1995, but nothing particularly interesting happened until 2001, so I condensed it to those dates. And then decided to plot the average to see how the different areas compared to London.
And if you filter down to, let's say, Hammersmith and Fulham, so third bar down, and now you've got your map zooms in. Can you click on one of those, and does it then update the line chart, or? Okay, I couldn't remember if we had set that up or not. It does not.
No. It's just across the general area.
Yeah, I think we set it just for the district or something.
Yeah.
Feedback?
Can I just ask, just a silly thing, I noticed you got a median doing the tool set. How can just now provide, is that using the same calculation as opposed to median?
Median.
Yeah, not the reference line, is that median?
I see, the average reference line. Yeah, probably could have put a median reference line on there.
Yeah, median of median.
Yeah. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It just seems strange that you have two different types.
Right. Yeah, it should be median. Yeah. But chose median because it makes more sense to talk about median house price.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just like
Just make it consistent. Yeah.
There was something in the city of London or Camden that went for 70 million twice.
Yeah, so it made everything kind of weird in the color scheme. Yeah. So there was 170 million I've sold in like.
It was an office though, right?
Yeah. There was detached, semi-detached, and a few other types, and I think both meant offices. Yeah, just about black.
Oh, it's not. Oh, is it other? But it's got to be offices or something because offices, PLN, right? Yeah. So anything that you filtered those out, right? In the end.
Yeah.
Because they were so much higher
than
everything else is terribly comparing your own.
Yeah, because you also get things like garages, less like credit. There's also less park. Yeah. A car parking counts as not.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. When it's not one of those other things. What do you guys think about the colors?
Yeah, I was going to say that versus so design code input to the voucher, but then yeah, it makes it easier to find those districts on the map again. So
Right.
it takes us back to the case and probably
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Initially, you had it,
Oh, because I
and
was
then we
afraid
threw
of
it on there just to see.
yeah.
And it kind of helped to us. It helped relate the map to the bar. A little bit. Yeah.
I think it would be nice for the line graphics just to look at just to see overall yearly trend.
Yeah.
And then maybe to see the years that it's quite difficult to see what year the drop happened and what year the rapid increase happened. So maybe, especially since like housing prices, the overall trend by years is something everyone needs to know.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well, it's intentionally small because it's just
Yeah.
a spark line to give you an overview. It's not intended to be precise, it's just for a pattern. So I guess part of the reason was there was no space to put a big one.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you put it below the map, then it makes the map look really weird in that area.
If you could potentially just look at the top 10 or like
why not?
No, because you want people to be able to click on whatever district they're in. Right?
His intent.
Yeah, but then you have to people have to go find it, right?
Yeah, it's just that like when you didn't.
How do you see the overall? How do you see the overall median if it's a business income? Oh, maybe yeah.
Yeah, just more context.
You got something on the end of the line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I just think of put in the start and end values. Maybe
Right.
Just more context. But
Yeah, that would probably help as well then.
yeah.
Band in the corner. So I'm guessing that doesn't update as you go through years.
Yeah.
Oh, the house price in the one on the upper right. Ah, okay. Yeah, so that should update based on what you click and what you select in the filter.
Mm-hmm.
It is doing the filter, isn't it?
Not on that. No, that's just a text box.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. You just manually typed it in.
I just wanted people to know.
That's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just thinking about the lines and the other ideas of how to make it a bit more useful. If you have that with filtering on anything else, you could have had that indexed. So previous start datas, compare it to that index so you can actually compare everything against everything.
You mean like
how much does it change to take one?
oh, like the percent difference calc instead? Yeah.
Percent difference rather than
Like a table calc is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you've spent 800 grand in central London, it's gone up to 880.
Yeah, you want to.
Or you spend 200 grand in outer London, it's gone up to 300 or 280. You've done a lot better in outer London.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Eva?
Yeah, I really like it. I think it's it's great overall, the colors and everything and the design. One thing that I, as a non-London person, would love to see is in the map when you zoom in a bit more detail of maybe some sort of place names or street names, because then I lose the orientation once we go down into a district. The district names, some of them are familiar to me, but once we zoom in, it's like, oh, where am I? So if I have reference to a bridge or maybe a big road or something, that would help me once it's zoomed in. But that's a minor thing.
That's good idea.
I love that as well. Better
Actually.
Never learned that yet. Cool. Anybody else? All set? Okay, good. Well done, Christy. So let's go next. Should we go left to right, Conrad? You guys are all squished in there together. Oh, you need to join the meeting. We didn't join yet.
I have, it's just my laptop's turned off.
Oh. Just hit refresh. Yep. Okay, so let me make you presenter. Okay, it's going to ask you, go back over to Chrome.
Yeah.
And download. Add extension. Share. There you go. Now you're up.
Okay, so I was looking at taxis in Chicago, and there's a lot of map data
there's a lot of map data that I wasn't too keen on. It didn't really show. I couldn't really find a way to visualize it really well, so I just went with something maybe a little bit more user orientated. So this basically just shows the filter on which companies are the cheapest per mile, and then how far, like if you're trying to get somewhere, you're kind of interested in how quickly you can get there. So then it's also got the miles per hour of each company. So you can use those. It's not really coming up very well on the screen. It's a little bit clearer, hopefully for you there. But you can use these to choose your trip. So you can choose how many miles you want to go. So it's not as good as Google Maps or anything, but you can choose. You can enter. Say if you want to go on a 10-mile trip, it will update in here. And then you can also use this. So 3152, not the nicest name, Crystal Abernathy. So you can go to that.
So those could be individual drivers, right? Eventually.
Yeah, it could be. So you can go there and you can see, okay, for her it's $17.88. That's how much it's going to cost me. I wanted to also add how quickly you got there, so I wanted to do a speed thing, but struggled a bit more with the speed calculation for a parameter than with the cost, and also wanted to add a time kind of thing into the parameter. So so if you wanted to go at 2 a.m., how much different would the price be compared to 8 o'clock rush hour or something like that? But those weren't. Yeah, I couldn't quite squeeze those in. It's hard to fit everything in to the time limit. But yeah, that's it. So it's pretty basic, very basic.
Yeah, that's all right. For your titles, like so, your how much will your trip costs, which one's the cheapest and the fastest, I would probably center those so they look, especially the one at the top for the 1788.
Yeah.
So what you typed in the number of miles you want to go, you picked a company, and then that gives you 1788.
Yeah.
I would probably rename your company parameter as well.
Yeah.
I would do choose a company instead, or just change the title of it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
and obviously, it's really hard to see on the screen. Eva, how does the green on the black look to you on the computer?
It looks well. It's green. I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. It's just like a grassy kind of green.
But can you read the company names, or because we can't really read them on this?
Oh no, I can read them fine. I think they would be better with more contrast.
Okay.
The company names, but like the bars and the bolded fonts, that's fine.
Yeah.
The other ones is a bit shady.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I wonder if you just made that's just using probably like Tableau Book or something like that, or is that a custom font you're using for the company names? Right, so it could be where, I wonder if you just made it bold, if it would show up better on the screen or something. So, if you're unsure of your fonts, you can always just come out here and connect it to the screen, especially if you're doing a customer presentation. Connect to the screen, test it, to make sure it looks okay.
Yeah.
And do you have your source? You got your source and name on there? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Any other feedback, guys?
Because I wanted to do like a taxi meter, so like when you get into a taxi. Yeah. Yeah, no, black. Yeah, I was hoping to make it more visually kind of like the meter, but I got a bit bogged down, and then I had 20 minutes to make it look the way I wanted, and that wasn't quite enough time. So yeah.
So okay. Anything else?
Just like maybe easier to well, at least from back here, essentially you see bar charts, but you see nothing.
So can you? Right. Okay. So they're both companies on the left and the right. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
It looks like there's a combination of independent names and companies in there.
Right. It's probably like whoever owns the medallion.
Yeah, because it looks like Fellman Corp is using Manuel Onzo, then Manuel Onzo is again the second.
Yeah,
but then later on it does go on to the company.
Yeah. That's just the way the companies are in the data center.
Yeah, like it would have made sense as well for me to filter out it repeating again.
Yeah.
Manual Alonso taking up 2 spaces at the top.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're different. Are they different numbers?
They could. I mean, it could be.
I think it's the same guy, but one of them he's registering as part of the company. The other one is just doing it.
One is independent.
So you're going to go one by one and group them together?
No, but I mean, when it comes to that view, I just would have cut it out and exclude it just for the sake of it. I'm not saying it's like a massive calculation.
Yeah, I see.
Right.
So are the companies on the left the same as the companies on the right?
They are not, no. So you can kind of decide which is more important to you.
Because I can't see one. Yeah.
You assume they were the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which companies are the cheapest are also
The quickest, yeah.
corresponding to each other. Maybe it would be useful to then switch one of them so they're both showing, okay, so then you can make a comparison that way just by looking at it like, oh, this company's really cheap, but straight away you can tell
how fast they are.
Not that fast.
Yeah. Okay.
Another idea, now that you mentioned that, is you could maybe do a slope graph that ranks them.
Yeah.
The other 2 measures.
I'll do the next time.
Yeah. You just like building this. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
You done anything else?
No, nothing else. Sorry.
All right.
Do I need to do anything?
No. Wait.
Average speed of.
Like how fast you want to go, is that the speed?
That is the average speed already. So yeah, that's how fast they're going over the.
On there, makes more sense to have the time.
I don't.
It makes more sense to have time rather than speed. Because how fast they will get there is not the speed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
Right.
That,
I want to get there in 10 minutes. Yeah. 10 miles an hour.
So you have to enter in to speed the distance you want to go.
Enter a line.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yes, so you can do
And you can see this here if you want to see what it looks like.
Okay. 2 more? Right?
Okay, so yeah, I was looking at parking violations in Philadelphia.
City of Brotherly Love. That's what it's called.
Okay.
As you can tell from me.
Yeah. So warm. Yeah, so I was looking at the when, the what, and the where. For when do the most violations occur? What are the top 10 offences? And where do most violations occur? So here we have yet another heat map. And you can see that the most parking violations are probably where you'd anticipate them to be, like around lunchtime, when people are supposed to come home from work, before work, and so on. You can use the heat map both by weekday and the particular hour, or both to filter where the top 10 offences and where they are most prevalent within each postcode. You can also do both if you fancy.
So that's specifically at Monday at 2 a.m.
Yes, if you're so inclined. So yeah, you can see the top offences, things such as meter expired and overtime limit. And you can additionally use these to see when most meter expired offences are.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah, so all around the same time really. Not too
All of
filling.
them are like that? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Pavement, sidewalks.
Yeah, that's busy on a Sunday at midnight.
This must be like
Yeah.
people are driving drunk or something.
Yeah. So yeah, they're all.
Fire hydrants, that's interesting.
I don't know what that violation
Well, it
entails.
It means you park in front of a fire hydrant, you block the fire hydrant.
Not a problem I often
It's
encounter.
law, yeah, so that fire gets to get to
Oh.
It's all blocked off. It's the same thing here, it's blocked off, isn't it? Fire hydrants, you can't block the fire hydrant.
They normally access underground water pipes.
Yeah, to be honest,
Do you have a fire out of the house?
Yeah.
Oh,
When was the last time you saw a fire?
Yeah, no, I was
I
like,
just assume, I do see them.
trying to think if I've ever seen a fire.
In America, yes.
Yeah, so it's,
They have this giant wrench that takes 2 people to turn it. So, and then you can, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, similarly, you can pick a postcode and
Zip code.
Zip code. Apologies. And see when the most violations occur and what are the top 10 offences in these particular areas.
Can you go down to southeast Philly, so the bottom right? Bottom right.
Left, right. Don't know my left from right.
That's good. Yeah, right there.
You checking if they're called real violations?
I was curious to see if they would have them on weekends, because that's when a lot of the sporting events are, and that's where all the stadiums are located. Yeah. Maybe even the one below that. Yes, that's probably. I think that's the shipping area. So
Thursday at 7. Don't know what happens
Thursday at 7. That must be when the patrol goes around. They probably have a rotation or something. Yeah, see, that one's got more. That might be where the stadiums are. The bottom, that one there. Yeah. Because you see them on the weekends there. Yeah. And also in the evenings, because the games are either in the evenings during, like baseball games are in the evenings every day. And then weekend would be football. It's interesting. I like your color choices as well. It's laid out very, very nicely. What font did you use?
Same one as last week that you also
I don't remember what you said.
Oh, right.
Obviously, I haven't used it since. But... Oh, that's right.
I don't want to try and say that. So.
It must be a German font, is that right? Is that a person or what does that mean?
Train script.
Train?
Train script.
Oh, train script.
I'm dying to ask.
So is that the font they use on the train?
West Philadelphia.
All roads. Might be like
For
playground.
What's his name? DJ Jazzy Jeff? I know, the Fresh Prince.
Yes, but I thought you actually wanted me to look it up.
No, I mean like.
Yeah, no, I get it now, but I still thought you wanted me to look at what was happening.
Philly, so right above where you are, that looks like a duck. Right above your mouth.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
I think that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Isn't it the Fresh Prince? Okay.
Just didn't know where it was.
Okay, very good. I like it. Make sure you include your source on here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm interested to see what happens to your font when you publish it.
It'll go into Times New Roman for me.
Well, it depends which one you use. Because there's a couple of them, and there's like 4 different types, and semi-bold works, but semi-light does not.
Really?
So yeah, don't pick.
For this particular font.
Don't pick semi-light.
So Eva, you can install this font on your Tableau server.
Say again. Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
You can install this font on your Tableau server so that it.
Yes. So if when you send me the workbook, just send me the font file as well, and all will be good.
Sounds good.
I want to say I really like this dashboard. I love how clean it is. The one small thing I have to say is where do the most violations occur, and where are the top 10 what are the top 10 offences? You could align those boxes.
Yeah.
Vertically, I think that's the only thing that I'd change. But I really like the overall look. It's really cool.
Did you look at mine?
Oh no. I shouldn't have. Yeah, no, I didn't. I'm sure it was better.
It's actually pretty similar. Yours looks cleaner though. It's good. But I use Philadelphia Eagles green.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you if there was like some sort of Philadelphia colour that I was on.
That's what I think of. Yeah, or red, white, and blue for America. Anybody else? Good. Okay, good. Hold on. So Eva, just one more quick question about Ellen. So you didn't mention the borders on her heat map. Is there a reason why?
I thought I shouldn't mention it every time, but yes, it's definitely something I would test out.
So you say
my feedback on heat maps applies to all heat maps. No, I think I would try it. I mean, in general, for heat maps, I always try with borders and without to see which one looks better, because sometimes it does look better without, but I'd give it a go.
Okay, thank you. One more.
Okay.
Last but not least.
Hello, I'm Nick, and I had TFL bike. I went for a bit of a approach to it because there's a lot of data in there. So I've
Yours was 222 million, something like that?
50 million, I think.
50 million, okay.
So yeah, 50 million different data points. So shrunk it down a little bit. So yeah, I initially went to look at the spatial distribution across London that we have for the different cycle points. The sizes of the circles on the map here indicate the number of rentals that originate at each docking point, which is interesting that overall most of them are rented out in the sort of city main area where most people work, which you can also see on the heat map down here corresponds quite nicely to the commuting hours, whereas at the weekends it's a bit more spread out across the afternoon. But then if we look at the map and highlight Saturday slowly, you can see that the actual distribution of the circles tends a bit more towards the Hyde Park area. People like to go on cycle rides around Hyde Park. I've also got the general trend of use up on the top right there of the rentals. So you can see the seasonal variation going from winter to
months left to right then? It's month by month, okay.
But I just kept it as year on bottom to show the trend across. But you can see February through to June and July, so quite a significant difference. And there's that general trend line of going across. And down here I tried something a little bit different because I looked at the time against the day and I thought, how does the actual duration vary across the day? So if you take out a rental during rush hour, it looks like on the most part your journey is quite short because you're just going from A to B, you know where you need to go, and that's that. Whereas for some reason at 2 a.m. people on average are spending 40 minutes with a bike. So I'm not sure what that.
Maybe it takes them a lot longer to actually find their way because it's 2 a.m. when they're drunk.
That's a very good point, yes.
Or they just don't read off them.
Yeah, they just keep them until morning and then take them back. But it's also important to point out that here there's only 250,000 rentals taken out at 2 a.m., whereas at rush hour it's 5 million. So there's a significant difference.
Is that what the color on the line is then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the colour matches with the heat map as well.
Okay. So if you click on a month, does it filter anything?
No, this doesn't filter. This just updates when you select. So for instance, if you want to look at King's Cross, we can see the general trends across the years.
Can you just lasso the ones near Waterloo? I remember that being quite interesting. Yeah, right around there. Just lasso those. Yeah, it's almost all in the morning.
Yeah. So
and then if you come up to our office, so somewhere around there, you just lasso a bunch of those. You'll see it should be the opposite.
Mostly in the evening. Yeah.
So everybody goes into the city and back to Waterloo. It's quicker than taking the train. So by the time you wait 4 trains in the Waterloo City line, and it stinks.
But yeah, as you can see, it's on the up. People seem to be on bikes.
Is there a reason for the sharp drop off in 2019?
I think that's just the data that.
So what month? What's the last month on that?
March. So I'm guessing that was incomplete data in March.
Right. Okay.
If that's the case, why did you need data?
I don't have a good excuse.
So what's the first period? Is it January of 2012?
Yes. Yes.
So I probably would have just cut it off at the end of 2017. Then.
Yeah, and just have the entire year data. Yeah.
So it must go through the middle of March, start of March, and a couple days in March or something. Yeah. So this is a fun data set to play with.
Yeah, but there were a lot of different angles that I've looked at potentially approaching.
Right.
Thought it made sense to sort of cover a few different things with a few different business or different designs.
Yeah. So Eva, what do you think about the heat map? Should it have white borders on it?
Possibly.
I quite like
I think anyone should try borders on heat maps. Because also, so I think for me it's an aesthetic thing, but also when you look at this one, the current view, you have that really sharp distinction between weekdays and weekends. And I think that the borders can break that up a little bit and give it symmetry at the same time. So yeah, I just try it and then be subjective on whether you like it or not.
What we learned, so like Alex mentioned earlier, you can probably do a really nice Mapbox map for that on the upper left, where it's just a white map with just maybe black lines. But we also you just went with. Is there a reason you?
I didn't go and find it.
Okay.
I didn't look over them.
You can always do a screen picker.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the number of rentals. Varies by the colour, so it's the same as it. Where it's darker, there's more rentals.
You might want to just make that a bit more clear.
Yeah.
Other things.
I'm not sold on colour. I can't help but about 12 a.m. one period, hopping over there. But I also was surprised about it the entire day. I can't have the bike rental. Yeah, we're looking at Russia 5 days and know that we can talk about exactly my brain. I went, what, haven't?
Yeah.
You know, on that point, lines, I kind of might be better at this.
Well, the duration is already weighted out.
Yeah. The duration itself is average a minute. Whereas on the that.
So the average duration is might be a bit easier.
Yeah, down to data.
Yeah, but it's easier to see that. If you want to use that color variant, might help that stand up.
Yeah.
So, because what Tableau does is it does a gradual shading from whatever it is, 11 o'clock to whatever it is, 12 o'clock. It does a gradual shading to that part. So, if you did individual parts, it might help that stand up more. Yeah.
And one more thing, like in the evening, there's the hours inverted feedback and the right chart is horizontal. So maybe that would be like a way to align the hours.
Oh, so you have the hours going across in the heat map as well?
Yeah.
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 So
no, that
flipping your heat map around. Yeah. Actually, I bet the squares would be a better size then as well because you'd have less going down.
Yeah.
Why don't you just hit the escape key and just click on that sheet? You don't have to go to the sheet. Just click on it, and then just hit the swap button at the top. There you go.
Yeah, it kind of squeezes the tiles in a little bit.
Yeah, but you could rename those without the suffix on it.
You could maybe then switch the heat map around with the light chart at the top, so that you could keep the hours.
Yeah,
so they'd be sort of aligned. Up and down.
But I think the heat map looks a bit better now because
they're more like
the shapes are more logical size.
Yeah, they're less rectangular.
Add a border, add a border so you can see what it looks like. Yeah, that's definitely better. Look that better? Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like underground tiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Eva, any feedback?
Just borders on the heat map, that's all. And I see that now. So
You notice the shape of the dots. Dots make. What's it look like? Looks like a fish, right? What if they did
yes.
Yeah. Looks like a whale. Or a goldfish, maybe. Okay, hold on there. All right, thank you, Eva.
editing always takes so much effort. My pleasure. Thanks for the presentations. Really good work.
Okay, bye.
Bye.